Do you know how to sell a toilet? I'm going to show you how, coming up. The first thing we want to do when installing our porcelain pony is verify that your flange is the right distance away. So I'm going to bring you in here close. If this is a new construction, a lot of times there will be it's a kind of a it's built into the flange. You have to take a hammer and tap around it to get that out. If not, and it's a existing, then this is pretty much what you should have. Something that looks just like this. But what you want to do is the furthest point on your baseboard or quarter round or whatever you got back here, you want to measure and make sure that the center of this flange is 12 inches or more. 12 inches is a magical number. Next thing we're going to move to is unboxing our toilet. So we've got everything unboxed. First thing you want to do is just check over your main bowl part. Make sure you don't have any cracks, anything like that. And you want to go through, make sure you got all your pieces. You should have a lid. You should have a tank. You want to check both of those, make sure they're anything. You should have a seat. And then you should have, if it came, some don't, but if it came with a wax ring, you'll have your wax ring, and then the bolts that attach it to your flange, which look like this. And see this white washer? It can save you sometimes, because when you put these guys in, you tighten him up, he holds your bolt to your flange. So, but that's for in the future. The next part is based on your strength. If you are a stronger person, you can go ahead and put the toilet together and then mount it. If not, then you can go ahead and mount the bowl and go ahead and secure it and do all that, and then mount your tank. I make tank before guy. So the way I do it is, you want to check the bottom of your tank. You'll have your main gasket. There should be a rubber gasket on both of those two bolts, which this one has 3, but a lot of them will have 2. Those bolts are what secure your tank to your bowl. All you want to do is set him on him like that right there. And then it should have came with some hardware, which will be washers and nuts. And what you want to do is take those guys and put washer then nut. Now once you've got your nuts started on here, what I like to do is, you want him fairly level, but what you can do is put some pressure on whatever side you're tightening, and then tighten it up by hand. Do the same with this side. Tighten it by hand. Tilt it back. So that's just less tightening you have to do with your wrench. And then I'm going to use a pair of channel locks here. And you want to snug him down. You don't want to crank on real hard because you can bust your tank. So you just want to snug him down. We've got our bowl connected to our tank. Now is when I like to go ahead and set him. And to set him, what I like to do, here's our toilet. When you go to set him, you kind of duck walk, I guess is a good word for it. What you want to do is grab him right here, right in front of your tank. You're going to grab him right there, because that's usually a pretty centered spot. And then when you get on either side, when you pick him up, then you duck walk him and set him like so. So I'm going to bring you in here close so you can see what I'm doing with the flange. Now I see a lot of different people do a lot of different things. What I like to do is I take, and I've always put my wax ring on my flange. Some people put it on the toilet. I don't, and I mean, I'm not saying there's anything wrong with the people that do, it's just, that's not what I do. So we're gonna take our toilet bolts here, our flange bolts, and there's a square. Can you see this square? The head should fit, and then when you get into the slot, see, it won't come out. And then we'll go ahead and take and tighten up our white washers. They're like plastic. Go ahead and tighten them guys up, because we want our bolts to stand straight up. And then you take your ring here. You know, a lot of times when people pull toilets, they see the wax and they're like, ooh, that's doo-doo. When in reality, a lot of times it's just the wax from the ring. We're gonna set him on there. Now this is the one that came with this toilet. If I was purchasing one, that, you know, the toilet didn't come with one, then I would get one of the ones that have the little, they got a little funnel almost that fits down in there. I recommend those if you're purchasing one. So we got him set. Let me throw this away. And all you're really shooting for is making sure that he is centered. There. So that's what we're hoping to get right there. Now, like I said earlier, I showed you how we duck walk him. I'm going to go ahead and set him, and I'm going to leave this view so that you can see. But you want to try to, this is the trickiest part, is lining those bolts up with the holes. So let's set him and see what happens. So we got him pretty close here already. We get our duck stance. We pick one side, hit him, and we get the other side. We check we've got them both. And then we mush him. And we're looking against the wall. We're looking at everything, kind of how he looks. If we like where he sits, we go ahead and sit on him and give it our little shake here. There we go. That was the hard part. It's done. If you've made it this far, you've got the hard part done. Now we're going to get our caps. We're going to get our lock washers and nuts, and we're going to install them. And the way it goes is this flat part. Now they make another style now that is not like this that you put on afterwards, and they're pretty cool. But the way these work is they've got this little flat washer, and that's what your cap snaps onto. So you put him first, and then you put a metal washer, and then you put a nut, and you put them on both sides. Now, if you can take your toilet, see this? It don't move much. Once I tighten it down, it's gonna be good. Now, if it rocked real bad, now would be the time you'd want to get some shims in there, put your level across your bowl and shim him up. But, so let's put these on. And one thing to remember, they say on either side, one of them says this side up. That's important, otherwise your cap won't snap onto him. Now you notice I didn't tighten him. I just put him hand tight. Because you don't want to tighten one side overly and then you make your toilet be unlevel. Now that they're both on there, I'll snug them up. Now we got them snugged up. That's what we're looking for, where you don't move. I'm gonna bring you back in close. All right, now I got you in close. See how much is sticking over right here? You want to take your little hacksaw, because look, this is the distance. Let me get away from it. Good hands. There we go. This is how much you got sticking up to. You can only cap this much. So what you want to do is take your little bitty baby hacksaw here, or a grinder, and you want to cut that bolt and low enough that that cap will fit on him. So we're gonna get in here, and once you get about halfway or so, you can take your little channel locks and grab a hold to him there and just fold him over and working like that right there, and he'll just break off. Once you do that though, you want to make sure that your nut is still tight, which it is. We'll clean him off a little bit here. Then you want to take that cap, heard him snap, now he's set. So once you're finished with those two items, next is our seat. So I'm going to go ahead and open him up here. And it should have the hardware, whether it was in with the seat or in the bowl or in the tank somewhere, it'll have the hardware. Okay. And this one, these vary. Some are all plastic, some have metal. This one has metal. There'll be caps. See them? These are caps right here. You want to open them up like so. This is a Kohler pullet, just for the record. Anyways, you open him up, and it has a screw with a washer. Put him through. He goes through the top into the hole. We'll go ahead and do the other one. He goes through, and then they have something like this, which the way this one works is you can slide it up and then tighten it down. You know, it slides up. It's simpler than having to do it the whole way. There we go. And then we need a screwdriver. We'll go ahead and put the other one on. Once you get them on, before you tighten them down, you want to make sure your seat is flush with your bowl. You know, it ain't sticking way over one way or way over the other way. So we're going to go ahead. These are the stoppers that go on the bottom of the seat. See the holes here? You want to put them in, so, which is a soft close, of course, but if it wasn't, you don't want it to slam. There we go. So we got them in. Then you want to just make sure he's nice and squared up on your toilet here, and we just want to tighten them down. There we go. Once we got him tight, you just snap those caps back over. And only thing you have left before you can take this pony for a ride is your supply line. So let's go over there. We can go ahead and set our lid on our bowl for now, just so it's somewhere. So we'll set him up there. Now he's not in our way. And then for your supply, I don't know if you can see my, yeah, right here. That's a 3/8 quarter turn valve straight. Your toilet line should have a 3/8, and then this is what the toilet connection looks like. They're all the same. I like to go ahead and put him on my toilet first. Don't ask why. You can do it either way. It's just how I do it. And I'm snugging him down by hand. You don't put a wrench on him. And then you shouldn't have to put a wrench on the bottom either, but you want to put him on there. If you do, it's not much on your bottom. And so we're going to take our channel locks and just snug him up here. Now that everything's hooked up, we can turn our water on. And here's what we're checking for. A, does it fill up in the bowl? B, does it fill up in the tank? When it is filled, does it ever stop running? So, which most of this stuff is set from the factory, so you don't even have to worry about it normally. So what we're going to do is we're going to let him fill and make sure he stops. Once he stops, we'll flush him a time or two, make sure we don't have any leaks anywhere. That's what we're kind of looking for now. We're checking everything that we've done to make sure we don't have any leaks. So it's full, not full, but it's a good halfway. So what we want to do is check all of our fittings, everything that we did earlier, where these bolts and these rubber washers were, or gaskets were. We want to make sure we don't see any water right here between the tank and the bowl. We don't see any leaks anywhere. We don't have a leak on our hose. So I don't see any leaks on the supply side. Now what we're going to do is flush him and make sure we don't have any leaks out of our wax ring. And it may take it 2 or 3 times, so you want to check that. Okay, so he's finished filling. Now we want to make sure he flushes. And he flushes. We want to look and make sure we don't have any leaks anywhere around. So we can put our lid back on. There we go. Now what we want to do is take silicone. I like to use 100% silicone. I like to use white. And we're going to go right around here, all the way around. We're going to sail him to the floor. So let's do that. And there you go, folks. That is how you set a toilet. Thanks for watching, and until next time, keep making dust.